The phone rings in a Honolulu recording studio, deep in the middle of the night. The engineer, a man named Milan Bertosa, is already packing up. The session is over. Everyone has gone home. He picks it up anyway. On the other end is a voice he knows, a local singer, huge in every sense of the word, calling from a payphone outside a bar. "Please," the man says, "can I come in? I have an idea." Bertosa says yes. 15 minutes, he tells him. That's what you get. 15 minutes later, a 600-pound man walks into the studio, sits down in a heavy-duty chair. Somebody scrambles to find for him, picks up a small tenor ukulele that looks almost like a toy in his hands, and asks Bertosa to just roll the tape. No rehearsal, no safety take. One microphone, one instrument, one voice. And in about 5 minutes, without stopping, without a single retake, he recorded a song that would eventually be heard by hundreds of millions of people, used in more films, TV shows, commercials, and funerals than almost any recording of the last 50 years. His name was Israel Kamakawiwoʻole, and on the night he made that recording, almost nobody outside Hawaii had ever heard of him. To understand what actually happened in that room, you have to go back further, because that 5-minute take wasn't a lucky accident from nowhere. It was the end result of an entire life. Israel Kamakawiwoʻole was born in Honolulu in 1959, and he grew up steeped in Hawaiian music from the beginning. As a young man, he became part of a group called the Makaha Sons of Niihau, one of the most respected Hawaiian music acts of their era. Traditional, proud, deeply rooted in the island's language and culture. He spent years there, singing harmony, absorbing the tradition, before eventually stepping out to make music on his own. That background mattered. Israel came up in a music scene wrapped tightly around the Hawaiian sovereignty movement of the 1970s and 80s, a period when native Hawaiians were pushing hard to reclaim language, land, and identity that decades of American statehood had steadily worn down. His solo records were full of that politics, sung in Hawaiian as often as English, unapologetic about what he thought the islands were owed. He was also, his entire adult life, a big man, and by the later years of his career, an enormous one, well over 500 pounds. It affected his health constantly. It affected how people looked at him before he ever opened his mouth to sing. And it is impossible to separate from what makes that ukulele recording so startling. An enormous, physically struggling man, alone in a room at an hour when the rest of the city was asleep, singing in a voice so light and high and gentle, it seems to belong to someone else entirely. The song itself was almost an afterthought. He layered a version of Over the Rainbow, the old Judy Garland standard, together with What a Wonderful World, blending them into a medley he'd apparently been quietly working out in his head for years, waiting for the right moment to actually put it down. That night, at that hour, exhausted, was somehow the right moment. The tape wasn't perfect. Listen closely to the finished version, and you can hear it. A cracked note here, a line sung slightly out of order there, even the faint sound of him quietly laughing at his own stumble partway through. It is, by any strict studio standard, a flawed recording, the kind an engineer might normally ask an artist to redo. Bertosa didn't. He filed the tape away, and for years, mostly just played it for friends. A strange, beautiful thing that didn't obviously belong anywhere, on no album, attached to no plan. If a 5-minute, unrehearsed, imperfect take, turning into one of the most recognized recordings in modern music, is the kind of story you wish more people knew, take a second and hit that like button. It tells me these are the moments worth pulling back out of the archive. And subscribe, because what happened to Israel after that night is the part almost nobody outside Hawaii knows. Stay with me. Years later, while producer John DeMello and Bertosa were assembling Israel's next studio album, Bertosa finally pulled the old 3 in the morning tape back out. This one has to go on the record, he decided. It was tucked onto the album, called Facing Future, alongside protest songs about Hawaiian sovereignty and traditional island ballads, one late-night favor among many other, more deliberate tracks. Nobody involved could have predicted what it would become. That single, imperfect 5-minute take is now one of the most used pieces of music in the world, in movies, in television, in commercials, played at weddings, and constantly at funerals on every continent. It has soundtracked hospital shows and grief scenes, car adverts and astronaut footage, and decades on, it was even added to the United States National Recording Registry, the Library of Congress's list of recordings, judged culturally significant enough to preserve forever. Millions of people who have never heard of Hawaiian music, never heard of the Makaha Sons, never heard the name Israel Kamakawiwoʻole, know that voice, that ukulele, those first few notes, instantly, even if they couldn't tell you who's actually singing. He did not live to see how far it would travel. In 1997, still only 38 years old, Israel died of respiratory failure, his health, worn down for years by his weight, finally giving out. Hawaii responded to his death in a way it has given almost no one else. His KOA wood coffin was allowed to lie in state at the Hawaii State Capitol. Only 2 people had ever received that honor before him, both governors. Israel remains, to this day, the only non-politician in the island's history to lie in state there. Around 10,000 people came to say goodbye, and when his ashes were scattered into the Pacific off Makua Beach, a coastline he'd sung about and fought to protect for years, thousands more waded into the water to watch him go. So think again about that phone call. A big man, exhausted, at a payphone outside a bar in the middle of the night, asking an engineer, already halfway out the door, for just 15 minutes. He got them, and in that borrowed quarter of an hour, without knowing it, he left the world something that has outlasted almost everything else recorded that decade. 5 unrepeatable minutes that turned out to be enough. If you want more stories like this one, real, forgotten, hidden in the details the official version leaves out, watch the video already coming up on your screen right now. Here on It Sounds Like Fiction, but it's history, there's always one more secret waiting.